Civilization always begins with water. From the glacial melting of the Himalayas to the vast plains of Sindh, 4,000 years ago, this was not a desert, but a green jungle roamed by rhinos and elephants. But the Indus was capricious. To survive the flood cycles, the ancients made a stunning decision. They didn't just build nests, they built mountains. Massive artificial platforms became their ark of civilization. The secret weapon here was fire and earth. When mud bricks were baptized by fire, they became harder than rocks. Mohenjo-daro, a red fortress piled from red bricks, rose by the riverside. Look at this breathtaking geometric aesthetic. 2,000 years before the Romans learned to pave roads, this place already had a perfect chessboard grid. The main streets were 10 meters wide, as straight as if drawn by a ruler. Order permeated every single brick. For 2:2:1, the perfect ratio unified across the city, and even the entire river valley. This signifies a standardized system and immense administrative power. This was an introverted city. Thick brick walls shut out noise and heat. While life revolved around inner courtyards, they valued privacy just as much as they valued order. Even waste disposal was part of the plan. Chutes in the walls delivered trash directly to street-side bins. It was rational planning that transcended its time. Over 700 wells were scattered like stars under this rational light. Mohenjo-daro operated like a precision machine, quiet and efficient. At the highest point of the city, there were no grand temples, no royal tombs, only a massive pool. This was the Great Bath. It was an engineering marvel. Natural bitumen coated the bricks, making this giant vessel completely watertight. For this civilization, water was God. We can imagine, in the morning twilight, priests slowly stepping into the water. This was not entertainment, but purification. In the faith of the Indus Valley, cleanliness was godliness. When monsoon rain struck, the true miracle was revealed. The city did not turn into a swamp because every household possessed private sanitary facilities. Look underground, a complex drainage network functioned like the veins of a modern city. Inspection manholes with sedimentation pits were something Europe wouldn't see. for another 2,000 years. The water carried away the filth, leaving cleanliness behind. This was the first, and perhaps the greatest, sanitation revolution in human history. Their words were carved in stone, yet remain silent to this day. These exquisite steatite seals are the only keys to unlocking the civilization's code. What did that mysterious unicorn represent? The answer perhaps lies in trade. Seals were pressed into clay tags, traveling across the seas with goods. These were not just artworks. They were the trademarks and barcodes of the ancient world. A meditator sits cross-legged, surrounded by beasts. Though we cannot read the script, we can read the order behind it. This was a highly developed commercial and bureaucratic society. Most puzzling of all, we found no palaces. The largest building in the city was not a king's chamber, but a public granary. Resources seemed to be centrally managed and distributed fairly. From incredibly precise stone weights to standardized brick sizes, there seems to have been no cult of personality, only a cult of standards. No large caches of weapons, no murals of war. Could it be that 4,000 years ago, humanity actually built a peaceful, egalitarian utopia? But nature took back its gifts. The river changed course, floods breached the levees time and again. People rebuilt their homes on the silt, but the order began to crumble. New bricks became rough. The perfect grid was broken by encroaching structures. The proud sewers were choked with silt. When the sanitation system collapsed, the civilization reached its end. Skeletons were left in the streets. The last inhabitants departed in sorrow. The glorious red brick metropolis ultimately turned into a silent mound of the dead. In 1922, a shovel struck hard red brick. The bronze dancing girl, hand on hip with confidence, awoke from a millennial slumber to gaze upon the world once more. Today, looking at these still intact drains, we are humbled. That was the first flash of the light of human rationality. Mohenjo-daro, the grid city by the Indus. It tells us true civilization lies not just in the height of its temples, but in the depth of its sewers. This was the pinnacle of order.